So, all right, once again, good afternoon and welcome to this webinar. So this is going to be our third webinar on our series. So today we'll be focusing on IoT for smart agriculture. So for the next 20 minutes, I'll be speaking, be presenting what I have. Then after that, I think we're going to take some questions and we'll see how we go. All right. So first and foremost, this is the outline for today. So I'll talk a little bit about IoT, then applications of IoT in smart digital agriculture. So we'll look at some examples from our previous work. Then I will talk more on how to start your own smart digital agriculture. I know a lot of people are interested in setting up their smart or digital agriculture. Okay. Right. So this is a pictorial view of what IoT is all about. First and foremost, IoT is just ability for our devices or anything to communicate via the internet, either to communicate with one another or to communicate with humans. So for this is the IoT ecosystem, all of this. So I'll just go through quickly. Basically, if you have your smart farm, so your smart farm could be maybe you are monitoring your tractors, or you have a greenhouse that has been set up somewhere, or your farmlands, you've planted some sensors, which you are monitoring the soil parameters, or you are tracking how your farm produce are being supplied. Please mute your mic. Mute your mic. Okay, so or you are tracking how your farm produce are being supplied to the market and things like that. So there are a lot of things that can go on a smart farm. Okay, so basically sensors will be sending data to gateways. Gateways we send to they will send to the base station. Now, one of the processes that is involved is data collection. So you collect data from your farm, then you transfer your data either using any of the communication technologies. So we have things like Sigfox, Wi-Fi, narrowband IoT, or LoRa. So you can set up any of these communication technologies to send the data from your farm straight to the cloud. So you use internet protocols, things like HTTP, SSH, QoP, to manage your data and communication between your devices and the cloud. Then from there, you can develop an application server. So the application server will be used to analyze your data and do a little bit of computing or AI on your data. Then, of course, provide insightful decisions for you. Okay. Then visualization and control. So you can also visualize your data from your mobile or your web applications from anywhere remotely, and you can also control remotely. So this is basically what IoT is all about. Okay. So next, I'd like to talk about some of the advantages of IoT in agriculture. So first, it helps to reduce wastages. It helps to improve production. That's a very important thing for farmers, how they can increase their yield. It reduces manual labor, so it cuts down unnecessary human intervention. Then it provides real-time monitoring, so you can monitor anywhere. So let's say you're a farmer, you travel out, you can still know what's happening on your farm. It reduces cost in the long run. So initially it could be more expensive to set up, but in the long run, it tends to reduce cost. Then of course, it increases efficiency. So if you want to know more about Internet of Things, we have a few publications that have been well cited. Example is an overview of Internet of Things and data analysis in agriculture, benefits and challenges. So you can just go online, Google some of these topics, enabling smart agriculture in Nigeria, application of IoT and data analytics. This one, decision support platform for production of chili using IoT, cloud computing, and machine learning approach. So these are very good papers that I would like to encourage you to check them out. Okay. So now I will talk about some of the applications of IoT in smart digital agriculture. First is soil monitoring. So this is very important. Then you have weather monitoring and forecast. With the climate change and all that is happening all over the world now, weather monitoring and forecasting has become more and more important. Livestock monitoring as well, farm mapping, asset tracking, delivery logistics, and precision agriculture. So let's look at them one after the other. So talking about soil monitoring, so there are a lot of things farmers would like to monitor on their farm, especially with the soil. So some parameters include soil moisture, the temperature, oxygen, electrical conductivity. So this talks basically about, it gives information on the soil variability within that field and on year-to-year trends, such as salinization and compaction of the soil. So another thing is pH. So pH measures the acidity or alkalinity level of your soil.
Okay.
Yeah. So please, can you kindly mute? All right. So let's see. All right. So soil monitoring is very important, and you can do this with sensors. So there are ready-made sensors that you can deploy on your soil to be able to monitor all these parameters. The next thing is weather monitoring and forecast. So again, there are a lot of weather stations out there that you can buy and deploy on your farm if you want to make your farm smart. So the idea is to get all these parameters, like the amount of rainfall, using a rainfall gauge, the temperature, relative humidity, solar radiation, and the wind speed and direction, the leaf wetting. And some of the weather stations also incorporate some soil moisture, EC, and temperature measurement. So with these sensors, you can take data over time, and based on your recorded data, you can analyze and also forecast. But the good thing is, we have a lot of weather forecasting stations now online. So you can also use that if you have access to the internet in your farm. Or you can deploy yours, maybe just buy and install. Okay. The next thing is livestock monitoring. So IoT is playing a vital role in terms of livestock monitoring. So again, this involves use of sensors and tags attached to the animals. So a peculiar case is the stealing of what do you call it now, cows and all of that, in Nigeria in particular. So this can help solve some of those problems. So again, you can monitor the location of the animals. You can monitor their temperature, blood pressure, heart rate of the animals. So this gives a lot of benefits. Monitor the health and vitality of livestock in real time, enabling farmers to quickly treat animals and prevent the spread of diseases. Okay, so you can also monitor their grazing pattern, where they intend to go over a period of time, and then you can track the grazing animals in case they go beyond or encroach into other people's farms. So all IoT can solve all those encroachment problems a lot of farmers and cattle rearers are facing. Okay. So the next thing is asset tracking. So another important area in agriculture. So again, for big farmers, they have a lot of inventories. They need to take inventories as in number of tractors, equipment, machines for harvesting. So all of this, they need to monitor them to avoid people from stealing them or misplacement and things like that. So IoT incorporated in some of these things can help you track your equipment or machines in real time. So you can know the location, you can know the usage. A lot of times, people have some of these things, but unfortunately, the workers should change the owners. Why? Because there's no tracking system. So let's say you are renting your tractor to some people, you don't know how many hours it has worked, you don't know what farms it has been to. So they just come and report to you that, sorry, there's no job today. So all of those problems can be solved with IoT. Okay? Farm mapping, this is another interesting one, which is becoming more popular now, especially in developed countries. So they tend to digitize their farm. So maybe certain areas, they know, okay, we are planting rice here, we are planting beans here, we're going to plant maybe cocoyam or maybe maize or corn. So they digitize their farms. They can see what is happening on their farm, on their system, okay? So that will help them to do a lot of things like crop rotation, deciding where to plant things and move things around and all of that. Then, in addition to that, they've gone to the point of where anytime they harvest, real time as they're harvesting, they're counting how much harvest, maybe 10 tons, 20 tons of rice has been harvested maybe on this area. So in real time, they can see on their dashboard how many tons of rice was harvested on this piece of land at this time, or in this year. So that's what is happening in most developed countries now. So farm mapping. Okay. So again, IoT plays an important role in this. All right. So please, can you mute your mic? Can you mute your mic, please?
I'm in the class.
Can you please mute your mic?
I'm in one lecture, online lecture. But you might last for 40 minutes.
Somebody is speaking. All right. Sorry for that interruption. So please mute your mics if you want to speak. Yeah, thank you. All right. So for delivery logistics, that's another important area where IoT is being applied. Okay. So farm to fork, that is from your farm, you know what vegetable, how it's being processed. Again, one of the advantage of this is food sustainability, reduction of wastage. So you know what is required in certain areas and certain markets and all of that. So IoT can help you track, the movement of your farm produce right from your farm, how it's being processed, all through to when it gets to the table and they are able to eat it for consumption. Okay. The next thing is precision agriculture. So precision agriculture basically talks about management of your crop resources. So it could be water, it could be pesticides, it could be fertilizers. Okay, so for just when you are monitoring your water, you're talking about smart irrigation. Okay, so just practice of applying controlled amounts of water to land to help grow crops, landscape plants, and lawns. Then fertigation is addition of maybe fertilizers to your watering system, so that you know the amount of quantity of fertilizer has been released to water your plants and crops. Okay. Then, of course, another area of precision agriculture is disease control. So, application of insecticides or pesticides. So, instead of just spraying anyhow, with IoT and other technologies, you can precisely look at detect areas that have diseases and just treat those affected areas. All right. So, these are some of the examples of projects that we've carried out. Okay, so this was done in Wireless Communication Center, ETM, Malaysia. So what we did was to plant chili pepper, those small tiny pepper. So we planted that. This is on top of the building, a rooftop. So you can see agriculture does not have to do with land anymore. You can plant anywhere. You can plant in your corridor. You can plant at the back of your house. As long as you have space, you can arrange things like this. So you can just set up your own agriculture in your compound. It doesn't have to be on the soil. So you just set up like a structure like this. Then arrange your what you call poly bags or whatever containers you want to put your soil in, and then you run your irrigation or fertigation pipelines, and then you set up your irrigation systems. So this is the complete system architecture. So we have like 2 tanks here for fertilizer A, fertilizer B. Then we have the water tank. Okay. So from there, we're able to develop an IoT device that automatically controls the irrigation or fertigation process. And at the same time, it monitors our soil, monitors the environment, the temperature, and things like that. Then from there, it's able to release some maybe water or fertilizers to the plants. So that's the project. It was a successful project, and we were able to gain 1 or 2 experiences from there as well. Okay. Then the other, so the paper, there's a paper that has been published in conference, or I think it's been published in a book chapter. So if you want to see more on how this was designed, just go to this smart IoT system for chili production using LoRa technology. So in this case, we use LoRa communication technology, which is a free way of deploying IoT in your system. You don't have to subscribe for any data or what. It just goes, once you deploy IoT, you can just, LoRa on your farm. You don't need to subscribe to any platform. You can just use it directly. Okay. So this was the dashboard, and this is the controller. So this is the fertigation system. Okay. So the next one is another project which I was opportunity to work on. So Chile Decision Support Platform. Again, we noticed one of the challenges from the Chile was diseases. So most times you need to talk to the experts in agriculture or experts who know about that plant which you are trying to cultivate. If you don't get an expert to guide you, then a lot of things could go wrong. So one of the challenges was diseases. We have to be calling farmers. We take pictures of our plants, send it to them. Please, can you please check our listing and all of that? Maybe wait for a response and things. So we thought, why not come up with a decision support platform, an intelligent one where people can just use their phone, scan their plant. So it's more like a doctor. Just put your phone or take picture of your whatever is going on with your plant, send to the platform. So it could be picture of the leaf, the stem, the bud, or the fruit. Then you could deselect whether you want to detect diseases or pest. You want to detect diseases or pest, or you want to check whether your plant is deficient in nutrients. So these are things the platform can help you diagnose. So you can either send either video, images, or text format to the platform. So from there, there'll be object detection, image classification, and text processing. Then, of course, it will provide some advisory notes and prescriptions. So we started we test run the system. It's not live now, but still under development. So in this case, we tested it for a disease known as leaf spot, and the system is able to detect. So what it does is it tells you possible causes of the disease. So in this case, it tells you the names of the things that have caused the leaf spot, the symptoms you probably are experiencing, then disease control, what you can do. So suggest some insecticides or some chemicals for you to apply, and then it recommends the treatment for you. So this platform is under development, and we are hoping that we'll be able to work with more people who are into farming and see how we can fully make it a complete platform. All right, so I'll quickly talk about this for the next 4 minutes before I hand over the time back to our moderator today for questions and answers. Now, the question is, we've seen the advantages of IoT for smart digital agriculture. We've seen various applications. The applications are more than this, but these are just some of the ones I've shared about. Then we've seen the benefits, but the question is, how do we start? That's usually the biggest question for most people, especially for peasant farmers, those who farm in a small scale. They are usually scared about the cost of starting and things like that. So we're going to look at some of the ways which we can start our smart digital farming, or ways we can digitize our farm. So number one is to determine what you want to digitize on your farm. So for example, you may be into poultry farming. So is it do you want to digitize your poultry farming? Okay. Do you want to digitize your poultry farming, or do you want to digitize your fish pound? So those are examples of farms you could digitize. Or you want to set up a vegetable farm where you deploy poly bags. Okay, instead of planting on the soil, you deploy poly bags and you set up your irrigation system. Or you want to set up an irrigated farm. So maybe on your farmland, you already have a big farmland. You want to set up an irrigated farm. So the advantage of this is that if you want to plant throughout the year, so thank God in certain parts of Nigeria here, we have rainfall, between 4 to 5 months, but it's not enough if you want to go into big time farming. So you may want to plant throughout the year. And the thing is, certain weathers are very good for certain crops, like pepper, beans, and things like that. They don't want too much of rain. So in that case, you can just, after the rainy season, deploy your irrigated farmland. Okay. So first is to determine what you want to digitize. Second, you need to determine what parameters you want to monitor. So again, let's say for poultry, it may be humidity of the pen, temperature of the pen. So you determine what are the things that affects the growth of the chicks or the birds. So those parameters, maybe you need to monitor them. And once you monitor the parameters, you need to be able to put in some line of actions, either to put on some fan when the environment is too hot, or you put on the heating system when the environment is too cold. So for fish pond as well, you want to measure the EC or the pH of the water, because those are things that affect the growth of your fish. So if you don't know that, please know that now. So you need to know what parameters affect the growth of your produce. Okay. Again, let's say you want to set up your polybath, so for maybe you want to plant vegetables or pepper or whatever. So you need to know whether you want to measure EC, soil moisture, and things like that. Okay. So you might not know this if you're not an expert in agriculture, but you can always consult those who have experience and they can always guide you. All right, so this is an example. When we planted chili plants, so we had to consult a chili expert. So he provided us all the information, like irrigation method, the deep irrigation, the pH value of our plant soil should be between 5.5 and 6.5. The amount of water required for each plant, the moisture level. So it gave us all this information. So again, as they grow, you need to know what's the expected EC when you're mixing your fertilizer, when they are 1 week, 2 weeks, 3. So if you have this information, you're already good to go. So you need to get this information before you think of digitizing your farm. Okay. All right. So the next step is determine what hardware to use. So basically, you need hardware, right? So again, there are hardware you can readily purchase from the market. The drawback to some of those things that they are very rugged, they could be very reliable, but they are very cost intensive. So for example, this is a soil tester, where if you want to measure the NPK of your soil, or humidity of your soil. So this is almost 200 USD. Look at this, a remote soil sensor as well, tester. This you can see, you can visualize your data online, it's all connected. So this is about 200 USD. And some of these finished products, when you buy their hardware, you still need to subscribe, pay subscription fee for their platform. So an alternative to that is for you to set up your own system. So you can start with DIY sensors. These are very cheap. You can use them and reuse them. They are very affordable. Get somebody who's good at microcontroller, they interface your sensors for you, set up your IoT system, and off your all right. So the last part is to determine what platform you want to use. So sorry, there's a background noise. Can I mute them? Okay, so you need to determine what platform you want to use. Let's say, okay, you've gotten your hardware, you need to determine what platform. So your hardware has to be integrated to some of these platforms. So there are a lot of platforms out there. Example is UB.Dots, ThinkSpeak, or you could create your own platform. So I'll show an example of the platform I created for a project. So if you can see my screen, okay. So this is a platform that was designed with Python. So this is for oil and gas to monitor the pipeline, as you can see. So this is the dashboard. We created a dashboard. So this is live now. And the good thing is the hardware is in Indonesia. It's currently in Indonesia, and I'm able to monitor it from my own desktop here in Nigeria. So then you can create your own dashboard. You don't have to use those dashboard out there. So for those of you who are interested in learning how to set up IoT dashboard, we did a training that started in December, and we'll run another batch maybe in March or April. So if you're interested, just let us know then. We'll let you know when the time comes. So we'll teach you how to do all of these things, create your sensors, set up your IoT platforms, okay? All right, so my time is almost up, just 1 minute. So we'll be having a guest speaker in our next webinar. He's a researcher in USA with the University of California. His name is Dr. Emmanuel Abioye. So he's an expert in precision agriculture. He has good publication. He finished his research from UTM and is now in the US. Okay. So we'll be inviting him to give us a talk on precision agriculture in our next webinar. So a link will be sent to you if you're interested. We'll notify you when the date for the next webinar. So on this note, I would like to say thank you, and I would like to pass the time back to our moderator.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Thank you so much. This has been a very, very wonderful, insightful information being passed. So without much ado, please, I'll invite all of us to fill the form.
Thank you, Doc.
As being posted on the chat. And if you have questions, I'll open the floor to questions. But I want to just say this: if we can't answer all the questions, there is a place for feedback, where, like someone was asking, can you send the article and provide the title? You could ask that question, then we'll get back to you. So are there any questions? Please kindly indicate by raising your hand, and I'll give you the floor. Then if you are not asking questions, please kindly mute your mic. Okay, Rabiu Adams, please, can you speak?
Okay, thank you very much. First of all, I thank Doctor for having time to make this a very wonderful presentation, very short and precise. We thank you for that. However, there are a lot of challenges with regard to weed.
Sorry, I can't hear. Can you speak louder, please?
Hello, I said there are still challenges with us. We the listeners, yeah, because most of the seminars we attended elsewhere, where we have less of we people. When I say we, I'm referring to we Nigerians. You'll hardly had all these issues of mute you at this, mute you at this. Well organized, no any interruption. But when it comes to ours, people will be talking somehow, anywhere, anyhow. So please, I think it's a call on us to please guide it and stop all this kind of thing and assist ourselves. So my number one question, sir, or doctor.
Yes, please.
If someone want to venture into fish farming, for instance,
yes,
do we have all the facilities here at home for one to set up on IoT platform for us to be monitoring his activities in real time? Thank you very much.
Okay. All right, let me respond to Dr. Rabiu. Thank you for the comments. So please, for all our listeners, please, what Dr. Rabiu just said is that if we come on, let's try to mute our mic and avoid disruptions. Okay, so to answer your question, we have the facilities in Nigeria, but they are not very common. We have people who are doing it on a small scale. And one of the things we are trying to achieve with these webinars and talks is to create more awareness. And I believe there's still a very big market opportunity for someone to set up complete IoT system that people can patronize in Nigeria. We are still, the market is big, but we have less people who are already established in this market in Nigeria. And so those are areas we'll be looking at to set up platforms that we can use in Nigeria, not abroad. So we can set up platforms that will customize to our own needs here. Yeah, so on a prototype level, I would say yes, you already have them because some of the universities are working on these things. Some of the research works are on these things. Like I know people from Utmina that are working on this, but on a commercial level, I think we're still lacking on that. And that's a market opportunity for anyone who is listening. If you want to go into that, bring IoT devices into Nigeria so that people can easily buy from you instead of ordering and taking months before it arrives. That would be good. All right. So I hope that answered the question, Dr. Rabi. Thank you.
Okay. Please, I want to say again, please mute your mics. Please mute your mics. Please mute your mics. We'll open the floor for further questions. If you have any question, you indicate by raising up your hand.
Okay, so it's time for us to talk now. So if you have questions, you can unmute and speak out. So let's hear you.
Hello, Doctor. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello. Yes, good afternoon.
Thank you for that lecture.
Please, I think Dr. Elijah said that there is a particular article on smart and wireless and something. I don't know if we can actually lay hands on that particular article so that it can further guide us.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is this. Thank you for your suggestion. So what I'm going to do is this. I will if you've registered on your please register using the link that has been sent out. So if you registered there, please.
Doctor, there's an issue with the form. It doesn't have a place for name.
There's no place for name. Oh, okay.
Yes.
That's an omission.
Yes, no place for name. Quite all right.
Okay. So can you please put your name in the comment section? Put it clearly, please. Sorry, that's an omission.
There is a place for feedback in the form. So the comments from you.
Yeah, many have already done it. But we have already done it now. But we have already done it.
Oh, you've done it
without names. Without names.
Without names. Okay. Never mind. Yeah. We'll go through the sorry, we apologize for that. We'll go through your emails. Just make sure your email is correct. We'll get in touch with you. So okay. When we get in touch with you, we would request, if your name is not there, we'll request your name so that we can put your name on the certificates. That's the benefit of your name. Then
hello, Dr. Elijah.
Yes, please.
Please, regarding the equipment for this IoT.
Yes.
From the little you have encountered, please, are they not, in terms of, are they cost, is this something that an individual can actually embark on and still succeed, or it has to be a kind of a collaboration and perhaps again, organization?
Okay, thank you, Dr. Sadiq, for that comment. Yeah, so like I said initially, it's usually the cost that scares away people. So, so when I was talking about hardware, I said two options. Either you purchase ready-made ones. So those are quite expensive. But now there are a lot of DIY equipment which you could set up on your own, or you could get somebody to build it for you. So it's not that expensive anymore. If you want to build, let's say you want to build a simple irrigation system, all you need to get is a pump. Then you get somebody who can design your microcontroller for you. Some of these students in the universities can do all of that now. They set it up for you. Then the cloud platforms, you don't need to go and purchase subscription from these big boys. A lot of platforms that will give you free online platform to use for maybe 1 or 2 devices or 3 devices, which I think is enough for a small scale farmer. So the system is becoming more and more affordable, and maybe in the future it's going to be readily available in Nigeria.
All right. Are you back to Nigeria now, or you are still?
I'm currently in Nigeria. So I'm currently in Nigeria.
Okay. I think I will contact you before you go, especially for my project students.
All right.
Because I think last year,
yes,
I had a group of students that probably they embark on solar. As I speak now, we have 24 hours solar energy running in our offices, in 3 of the offices.
Wow,
where
that's
I actually
interesting. Wow.
So that's I think this IoT of a team, and then there is one of my PhD students also who is into this fertigation. I wouldn't know whether he even joined now because I shared this link with him.
Okay.
So he made a presentation in December 14th this year.
Yeah.
So with this kind of lecture, I do hope that we will be able to collaborate and still discuss further. So I think I will contact you.
Okay. All right. I'll be waiting for to hear from you, Dr. Sadiq. Thank you for that.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Let us begin to round up. And if you have any further contribution or comment, please, I'll be posting the form again. Just fill it and type everything under the comments, under the comment section.
Yeah. Can we take pictures now before they finish filling their form? If that is okay.
Okay. All right, please, let's take pictures. It's on your camera.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, 1, 2. I'm waiting.
Okay.
you.